The art of life. What does that stand for? Is it about Picasso, paintings? No, it's actually something much more important. It's an acronym, and it stands for Adapt, Reimagine, and Triumph. It's something you have to do throughout your life. In fact, it's one of life's big secrets. But let me share with you some things from my life that I think will help you understand art. I was born in England, in a town known for three things. 1, shipbuilding. 2, coal mining. And 3, maybe the best beer in the world. That's what I'm told. I don't drink Newcastle Brown Ale. Newcastle is also known for one other thing, and that's Geordie talk. Translation, we talk funny. So I took this clip from YouTube to give you an idea of just how I used to talk, and you'll understand why I'm not giving this presentation in Geordie talk.
An idea of how these words are actually used in everyday life. What I'll do now is I'll give you a few phrases just so you can hear it in context, you know. Can we go home at 4 o'clock? I've got to pick up my child from school. Lewo gan nie ma 4 o'clock out. I've got to pick up my Ben, like. Did you watch the football last night? Did you see the football last night, like? I would like to go to the restaurant and fine dine with you. Lewo gan to Greg's and have some scran now.
That's how I used to talk, but I don't think you'd appreciate me giving the presentation in Geordie talk, so let's move on. I grew up on a street like this. It's a working class neighborhood, nothing special. The River Tyne is at the bottom of the hill and smokestacks across the river. I also went to school in England, in Newcastle, and in school, teachers called me stupid. They probably did that because I failed almost every exam. When I was 10 years old, my parents told me that we're going to move to London. That was the big move. Now, to put that in perspective, that's like moving from the Earth to the moon. It was so big a move for us. So in order to survive in London and in school, I needed to adapt, reimagine, and triumph, simply because if I was talking Geordie talk, nobody would understand me, so I had to adapt pretty quickly. However, I still did not do well in school. When you're 15 years old in England, you have to take the GEC exam. This exam determines whether you're smart enough to go to college or higher education, or school's over for you. So I took the exam, and you probably guessed it. I failed the big exam. So I had to find a job. So how do you find a job when you're 15 years old with no education? Here's what I did to find a job. I looked around the neighborhood and I said, who has the nicest house? Who has the biggest car? I'll do what they do. Well, it turns out they were hairdressers, ladies' hairdressers. So I said, okay, if I'm going to be a ladies' hairdresser, I want to learn from the very best hairdresser there is. And at the time, it was a gentleman called Vidal Sassoon. So I made an appointment and went to see Vidal Sassoon about getting a job. Well, when I got there was a gentleman behind the counter, and I said, good afternoon. I wonder if you could tell Mr. Sassoon that I'm here for my interview. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he eventually said, well, I am Vidal Sassoon. How can I help you? I think you'll agree that's not the best way to start a job interview, but I persevered and I did get the job as an apprentice, which is a 4-year apprenticeship to learn how to do hairdressing. So here I was, not in school anymore. I was an apprenticed hairdresser. So adapt, reimagine, triumph. So after about 2 years, I was very lucky. I guess I was good at it. I became a hairstylist. Then one day, Vidal said to me, how would you like to come to New York and help open my new salon? My one-word answer, absolutely. America, big buildings, big cars, beautiful women, I'm there, absolutely. So the move was to America. And we didn't fly here. We actually came by ship on the SS United States. and it left from a Southampton port in England. It was the same port that a very famous ship had left 50 years earlier, bound for New York, hit an iceberg, and never made it. So that was in the back of my mind, but I felt lucky that we'd make it this time. But the reason I mentioned the Titanic is because I have a connection to the Titanic. You may remember I said I grew up in a shipbuilding town. Well, my grandfather was a shipbuilder, and he helped build a ship called the Carpathia. And the Carpathia was the first ship to arrive at the scene of the sinking and pick up so many survivors who would have just perished otherwise. So I'm very proud of my grandfather for doing that. And that's my connection to the Titanic. So here we are, we're aboard ship, we're going across the Atlantic 4 days, and we arrive in America. Now at that time, in the 60s, everything was crazy. It was the British invasion. America fell in love with all things British. So what do? We arrive, adapt, reimagine, triumph. It's the art of life. So it's 1964, I'm 18 and a half years old. And I'm working and living in America, in New York. I'm working on Madison Avenue. So I was working there for about a year, and one of my clients, whose hair I used to do in London, had moved to Bermuda, and she was coming up to New York every so often to have her hair done. And one day she said to me, Adam, why don't you come to Bermuda? The salon, the Princess Hotel, is looking for someone to take over the salon there, and we can help you get there. And I said, Bermuda? Palm trees? Beautiful beaches, clear water, water skiing. Yeah, I'm ready. So the next big move was to Bermuda, to the Princess Hotel. So again, it's, adapt, reimagine, triumph. So I worked there for about 5 years, and I met someone, and they were an airline stewardess, and they worked out of Chicago. So guess what? Returned to America, Chicago. Now, Chicago is very unlike New York. It's like a town as opposed to a city, but I enjoyed it there. But again, it was art. Adapt, reimagine, triumph. We're in the Midwest, different. And I'm still doing hair, but I was rapidly losing interest in hairstyling. One day a friend of mine said, I'm going to go to the Board of Trade and see my broker, and we can have lunch afterwards. Do you want to join me? So I said, sure, lunch sounds good. I had no idea what the Board of Trade was. So we went down there, and we're looking over the trading pits from the visitors gallery at the Chicago Board of Trade. And I said, what are they doing? He said, well, they're buying and selling corn and wheat, and that's for the entire country. I said, really? I said, are they making money? He said, oh, yeah, you can make quite a bit of money. So that's all I needed to hear. So the next day I opened a commodity trading account, and within a week I'd lost all the money I had. He didn't tell me you could lose money. So I said to myself, if I lost the money, somebody made the money. So I decided I would become a commodity broker. It's a small problem. You need to take the commodity broker exam, and you know how well I do with exams. But I said, no, I'm different. I'm older now. I'll study hard, and I did. And I took the test, and I failed the exam. Wow. So I failed. I wasn't a hairdresser anymore. I failed the exam, and I'm saying to myself, what now? Well, the company that was sponsoring me said, we'll give you one last chance. We like you. We'll give you one last chance. If you don't pass this time, Adam, we'll part company. I said, that's fair enough. So again, I studied really hard, thinking I had aced the first test, but no. So I studied even harder, and I took the test. And guess what? I passed the exam. So happy about that. So again, it was art. Adapt, reimagine, triumph. I'm a broker now. I'm not a hairdresser, but I'm a broker. And I did rather well with that. Then one day, one of my clients who had made a lot of money for us said, I want you to meet my associate from Switzerland. He's flying in on his private jet, and he's heard about you, and he'd like to meet you. Could I fly to New York? I said, sure. So I flew to New York, met with Abbas Gokul, who was the head of the Gulf Group, and he offered me a job to help manage his money in Switzerland. So guess what? The next move was to Switzerland, to Geneva. Now, Geneva is the French-speaking canton in Switzerland. There's 4 official languages. There's French, German, Schweizerdeutsch, which is a combination of Swiss and German, and Italian. But English is pretty widely spoken. But again, it was art. Adapt, reimagine, triumph. So I was there for about 6 years, and unfortunately things, because of time changes, I didn't have a lot of time to spend with my family, and that really didn't do well for my marriage there. So I decided to return back to America, to Maine and Maryland. But after 6 years, everything had changed. So I had to learn to adapt, reimagine, and triumph again. But I saw something really amazing, and that was the World Wide Web. That was in 1993. That same year, I decided to create a website, and I called it INO.com. It stands for Investment News Online. Now, I didn't know anything about programming, but I found someone, and we managed to put together something pretty special. It's still operational today after 28 years, which is pretty fantastic. So this gets me to my next subject, and this is important, the importance of imagination. Now, my hero said this, and that's Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. I couldn't agree more. I have something in common with Einstein. It's not math. It's certainly not MC squared or any of those equations he came up with, which I don't understand. But we are both dyslexic. And that's probably to my benefit and created problems for me earlier in life. But I found out there's a lot of people who are dyslexic. Albert Einstein, as I mentioned, Steve Jobs, Tom Cruise, Will Smith, you name it, Steven Spielberg. A lot of people are dyslexic, which I found out, and they tend to be creative and autistic. And also dyslexia probably attributed to why I failed so many exams, because you tend to put things backwards. So let's see what we're doing now. Here's some new ideas that I'm working on. 3 good ideas outside the box. The first idea is I imagined, or reimagined, I should say, the wine bottle. So here it is.
It's the first new wine bottle in over 200 years. Our revolutionary Air Wine Bottle is... If you'd like to learn why we believe the Air Wine Bottle is going to disrupt the wine industry, fly over to airwine.com and sign up today.
Okay, so that's the first idea. My next idea was to come up and create a toothpaste made in America that did something that no other toothpaste in the world could do. Well, it's another beautiful day here in Maine, and I'm just about to head out on a bike ride, but I wanted to share this with you. It's the most powerful word that I've found in the world. And what it is believe.
Act as if you believe. That is power. That is sheer power. And it will happen. Believe you me. From an old fool like me. It's worked in my life. It will work in yours. So never give up. Believe, believe, believe. I don't care if you're atheist or agnostic or anything. Believe, believe, believe.
So that's why we named our toothpaste Believe. What makes our toothpaste different is all the profits and proceeds go to help cancer charities and cancer research. When you believe something strongly enough, you can see it happening. You can achieve it. You heard the old expression, what the mind can believe, the body can achieve. Well, it's absolutely true. It's true in my case. I've seen it happen. So anyway, 4.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I said, okay, I can believe. I can believe I'm going to get better. And that was the message I gave myself and my mind and my body. And I am getting better every day. So believe is a very powerful word. So check out brushawaycancer.com right now and order some Believe and see how your life changes. because you believe in the morning and you believe at night, and that'll stay with you. Be the good in the world. Okay. The other thing is important is to believe in yourself. So important. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? Your parents? Yeah, for sure. But it's really getting down to you. You have to believe in yourself. Here's one last piece of advice, and it's your most precious gift, so don't waste it.
It's your most precious gift, so don't waste it. One thing I know with complete certainty is that you're going to die sometime in the future. Did you know that the average lifespan in America is 78.85 years, which is 40,996,800 minutes? I know that sounds like a lot of minutes, but the reality is every 60 seconds a minute passes that you are never going to get back. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you've made, you're never going to get back that minute. So why squander your most precious gift? Do something worthwhile with your life, no matter what it is. Make every valuable minute count. Do what you've always wanted to do. Have a disruptive idea for business? Do it right now. Don't waste another minute thinking about it. You may think you have plenty of time, but the reality is your inner clock is counting down the minutes of your life. So do whatever it is you want to do with your life right now. Time is your most precious gift. Don't waste it.
You know, life is an adventure. Live it, embrace it, and most importantly, be kind. And always remember, art, adapt, reimagine, triumph. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. I hope it inspires you. And thank you for your most precious gift today, time. I hope art is in your life and you do great things. Thank you for watching.